Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hello Word, your daily dose of English vocabulary. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we explore another interesting word. Today's word is chief. So, what exactly does chief mean? Well, it's a noun, and it refers to a leader or the most important person in an organization, group, or even a tribe. Think of the person in charge, the one who makes the big decisions. It's a common word, but let's dive a little deeper to understand its nuances. Chief often implies a position of authority and responsibility. For example, the chief of police announced new safety measures. You can also use it to describe the head of a department or a company. Now, let's look at some synonyms for chief. These are words that have similar meanings, which can help you understand chief even better and expand your vocabulary. One synonym is leader. For example, she is the leader of the team, inspiring them with her dedication. Another good synonym is head. He's the head of the marketing department. We can also use the word principal. For instance, the principal of the school addressed the parents. Another synonym to consider is director. The director of the company is responsible for the overall strategy. And lastly, we have commander. The commander led the troops into battle. Now that we've explored some synonyms, let's look at antonyms of chief. Antonyms are words that have opposite meanings, providing a contrasting perspective. A clear antonym for chief is follower. For instance, he is a loyal follower of the party. Another antonym would be subordinate. She is a subordinate in the accounting department. Another good example is employee. He is a valued employee of the company. We could also use the word member. She is a member of the club. Finally, we have assistant. He is the assistant to the manager. So, how can we use the word chief in everyday life? Well, you might hear it in the context of a company, like the chief executive officer announced the company's earnings. Or perhaps in a tribal setting, like the tribal chief made an important decision regarding the land. You might also hear expressions like chief cook and bottle washer, which means someone who does all the jobs. Or you might say chief among them to emphasize something as being the most important. Let's look at a few more example sentences and phrases to solidify your understanding. The chief complaint from customers was about the slow service. The chief reason for their success was hard work. He's the chief architect of the new building. The chief medical officer issued a warning about the virus. She was appointed chief editor of the magazine. He became the chief negotiator for the union. The chief suspect in the crime was arrested. Our chief concern is the safety of our employees. The chief advantage of this product is its ease of use. The chief engineer oversaw the construction of the bridge. The chief financial officer presented the budget. Who is the chief decision maker in this project? The chief executive is responsible for setting the company's strategic goals. He serves as the chief advisor to the president. She is the chief investigator on the case. The chief strategist mapped out the company's expansion plan. The chief accountant is preparing the annual report. The chief librarian manages the library's collection. The chief spokesperson addressed the media. The chief programmer led the software development team. As you can see, chief is a versatile word with a clear meaning of leadership and authority. We've explored its definition. Synonyms like leader, head, principal, director, and commander. Antonyms like follower, subordinate, employee, member, and assistant, and various examples of how it's used in everyday life. We also looked at common phrases and sentences using chief. Remember, chief always points to someone or something at the top, in charge, or most important. That brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word. Before you go, I have a small favor to ask. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your support helps others discover our show and learn English with us. And now I have a challenge for you. I encourage you to create your own sentence using the word chief and share it as a comment below. I look forward to reading your creative examples. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next episode.